primary ignition.
This is Star Wars.
Look out!
Core World News.
You may fire when ready.
From the bright center of the galaxy, I'm Grex Kondak, and you're listening to Core World News, your whole-net news show providing in-depth coverage of all the latest stories from every sector of the galaxy. Welcome to a special presentation of Reading Rathtar. This week's main review is Star Wars Battle Scars by Sam Mendes. Now we host Ben Grandadam to discuss the voyages of the Mantis crew between the events of Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. Out now.
Yeah.
Rex is off to Manon.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to...
Ben's buried in wires right now.
Yeah, welcome to Core World News. Ben's trying to figure out what's going on with his volume. Yeah, but we are definitely going to...
We're live, though. We're here.
We are live. We are here.
Join us live. Yeah. Join the chat.
So
let's talk about Jedi Survivor. Let's talk about Jedi Battle Scars. Adam, shoot us with your thoughts. Let's go.
Yeah, of just everything. So do we want to do it? You're back. Ben's back.
Sorry.
No
you do listen. The software's free, and I haven't done the update they've been telling me to do for a month. So,
well, whose fault is that?
Yep, mine. Apologies. Sorry, I interrupted you, Adam. Please continue.
I don't know. I was floundering there. So what do we want to do? Do we want to talk just general? Like, do we want to talk game first? Do we want to talk book?
I'm
first?
so glad you asked, Adam. I think I want to start
pod at a time, guys.
That's right. Yeah. One part at a time.
Sorry, I just get that
We're going to polish this podcast
put my mic down.
One part at a time. I think we should start with a book. We're going to go in chronological order here. So the book happens. We're obviously going to talk about Jedi Survivor and Jedi Battle Scars by Sam Maggs is the other's name. And so these are like, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're still basking in the afterglow of The Mandalorian, which was a great ride, but it's like, bam. More Star Wars content. If you're a Star Wars fan right now, you are stoked on Jedi Survivor. That's what everyone's talking about. There's this adorable promo video with Mark Hamill that I'm sure is being jammed down your throat. And it's so good though. It's such a fun one. This is what's going on in Star Wars right now. So there was also this book. As now with every game, we get these books that accompany every game, and they've all been pretty good actually. So Jedi Battle Scars happened, and we're a little late. That came out a while ago, actually like a month ago. But I think we're going to cover that first, and then we're going to try and not spoil Jedi Survivor, right? Yeah. We want to I want to get you excited about Jedi Survivor. I don't want to just be like, and then this happened. Like, we'll talk about some functionality, right? Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about sort of the direction and the vibe. But it's still like we're not going to ruin anything for you. You can't ruin it once you're in that game. You're just like honestly, I think all of us would rather be playing that game. I mean, I'm loving this, but
there's only the one game.
There's only one game.
There's only the one game. No, I love the podcast, but it's very hard for me to be here right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Why are we even doing this?
Why are we doing this? Let's end it now. Let's just put out a 5-minute podcast.
I gotta go, guys. Okay.
No reason we should be podding.
Actually, I have to
do continue.
I'm vibing on this podcast right now, man. I'm stoked.
I know.
I'm actually stoked about this because it's like two synergistic, media enterprises coming together. We're getting. I mean, these are serious stories. We never cover the games like afterwards and talk about the story that it brings.
We're getting a book with the game.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. I mean, I think we covered Inferno Squad had a book.
Oh yeah, maybe? We covered Inferno Squad. We covered.
I think we covered that.
The Battlefront. The first Battlefront had a book,
and that was
too.
almost an in tandem type deal. But this is fun when they do this. When Lucasfilm does this and they put out a book with the game, I think that's so great.
Yeah, and I think we did do a record after the first Jedi Fallen Order.
Did we talk about the story?
I think we did once we all finished it, which I think we'll do again in like 7 months when we're through this game.
I'm going to take my time with it, but it's going to be a minute, but it's important important narrative content. And I know I say that about a lot of games, but I mean, this is like on the tier with like a live action series or a feature film. Like it's that important in that.
Is it?
To me, it is. To me, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I
not a
agree
feature film, but I'll say
right.
at least a live action series. Like it's at least as real. To me, it's
I want to engender a disagreement here. So
Please.
I like the conversation. And I feel like it's great. I'm loving the story. I do want to see where it ends. I know Seer is wanting to build a Jedi legacy, and I know Cal is trying to do that as well. And where does the story end? We'll see what happens at the end of Survivor. We'll see what's going on with all of that. But
you have a
obviously Luke is the one who builds the legacy, continues the legacy, and so it could be heartbreaking, and I don't know how invested I should be in this story.
Are you bumping up against? Go ahead.
I was going to say, are you worried about Lucasfilm breaking your heart? Is that what you're saying to me right now?
I mean, I know that's most cases that happens, but
do they ruin your childhood ever?
I mean, I never responded.
Just want to be clear here.
Contingent, but I feel like no. I actually have my thoughts about all the movies for my very own specific subjective reasons.
I'm giving you a hard time, Grant. You're always very fair, but you're very critical because you care.
Yeah.
I'm deeply critical of Star Wars films, particularly.
But you have a critical eye for all, like you are a writer, right? We talked about this last week.
It's just constant.
But you're kind of like a mama bird taking care of her chicks. You just kind of like you want
everything to be organic and good and be everyone healthy and happy and the story really tie together in a fun way.
And but I want to build on that, Grant, because I see both your points. Because I do think like the end of the first game was really a really riveting story, and it seemed like it connected with Star Wars. And then in this game, which we won't spoil anything, but there are moments I bump up against the fact that there's another very powerful Jedi, two in fact, includes Seer, wandering around the galaxy, pretty involved in proto-rebellion stuff.
Yeah,
and it's really it's taken me a minute to kind of like fit those Jenga pieces that now we have Cal Kestis and we have Ahsoka running around, right? It's
Wait, are you spoiling Ahsoka Tano in the game?
No.
No.
You're
talking about in the galaxy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could
say
you haven't activated Obi-Wan Kenobi too.
No, right. If you talk about Obi and the Obi-Wan series,
Obi-Wan series has already taken place by the time this game takes place. So that's happening.
But Ahsoka, they rip your heart out and they world between worlds her back into the story, and it's like I am now with her as like she is now a mythical archetype at this point. She's now just like a god type deity type.
She's
character.
like Gandalf, right? We've said that.
And it's very cool. Yeah, it's super cool. She's a demigod of some kind. It's very
cool. I will tell you how I kind of got my brain around this whole thing is that no one ever said that there was no other Jedi in the galaxy.
Right.
That is something that we created in our heads through the only narrow, by the way, called Skywalker saga that only focuses on the Skywalkers. Right. And that's the other.
I mean,
thing.
that's how it's branded, though. I mean,
that's my point.
We didn't.
No. But the point is that it's not anyone's fault. They specifically call it the Skywalker saga, meaning that there are other sagas out there going on concurrently that we're didn't think about. Right?
Dude. That's the stone I hold like closest to my heart is that it's a galaxy, so essentially the storytelling can be infinite because a galaxy is larger than you can comprehend.
What if Luke just gets the information that they are gathering, basically?
Like there could be the bridge.
What if it just gets to Luke and that is the temple, like that is where it's being built, like they decided that location, not even Luke. Like what if Luke dug into the past and found like you know what I mean, like Seer and Cal, basically.
Like there's a little bridge that gets drawn.
The Jedi more so than we thought.
That'd be cool.
For all we know, Cal Kestis is one of the instructors with Luke.
Like he's the Kyle Katarn replacement.
There's nothing that says that couldn't happen.
He'd be a good Kyle Katarn replacement. I think when people saw him carrying a blaster, people started making that comparison on the internets and getting kind of fired up about that. He could be. I wouldn't hate it.
I mean, I'm still waiting to see like the lightsaber blaster combo on screen. I don't know when we'll get that, but
on screen,
live action.
I'm also always thinking
it's going to be Finn.
Finn. I was going to say it's going to be Finn if we get.
It should have been Finn in the third movie, like throughout the third movie, but whatever.
Technically, we got Ben Solo doing it, but not really, not like for any length of
weird
time.
that it was like, here's a brief instance of a person doing this, and
but
it
it's
was like,
but it's
I want
such,
I want it to be like a character.
but it's such a great brief instance.
Yes,
it's
it
like
is.
one of my
It's
one of my
great.
favorite moments in
great.
Star Wars. Solid.
No, undeniably.
Like,
I think we love that portion of the movie.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I think that portion of the movie.
That's my favorite part of the sequels. I think is Ben's redemption.
Really,
I think it's up there for me too.
Just
the holdout maneuver is not like number one.
I mean, that's also amazing.
I'll take Kylo Ren no look one-shotting someone behind him in like a exact same frame as like what Han Solo did.
It's
I think in the
beautiful.
first movie actually they showed him doing the same thing
on Takadana.
I'll take that. I'll take that over a Holden maneuver any day.
All right.
Not to take away.
The Holden maneuver
shade to
literally
Holden.
melted my brain, but
it's
I
really
love
great.
you love that. Yeah, it was awesome.
I was like, this is happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, but like that was the entire movie. I was like, oh wow, all right, this is happening. Okay. Like we're just constantly disrupting.
We're far afield here, but I'll just say since we're talking about like favorite moments in the sequel trilogy, like to me, like just in Force Awakens with Rey pulling the lightsaber to herself, it's still a moment that I actively get choked up. I still get choked up every time I see it. And I don't know why. I'm like, I know this is gonna happen.
That's a sign of a good movie, man. You know.
Yeah.
I did want Finn to like get a couple in though.
Me too.
A couple more.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. Okay, we are fully afield now.
Wait, Ben.
And maybe use the Force. Like the whole Kylo setup where Kylo notices in the beginning. I'm like, is that a setup that he's Force sensitive and like Finn does something in the Force and then Rey, one ups both Kylo and Finn? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I was just
I think it is
confused
now.
about the setup with Finn.
I think we're retroactively adding a setup that wasn't necessarily there.
I feel like there's like I think it's in there though. It's like kind of in there. There's a lot of stuff that's in there sometimes, and you read into it, and you're like, oh, that just didn't play out. Kind of how I thought.
That's JJ mystery boxes that may or may not be a setup for something that may or may not happen, that may or may not pay off. But I will say, like, there are rumors that's been floating around the last couple of weeks that they are actively talking to John Boyega about this movie. So
I heard he might like come on as like an EP or
Oh, really? Because didn't we said that thing? I was like, bring him on as a director or a producer or something. Like,
Or like decide the character.
Definitely, give him.
You tell us
decide that trajectory.
Yeah,
I would do that. I mean, they do that stuff all the time with their stars. I don't know why they wouldn't do that here. Like Boyega's legit, and he's trying to be that guy, right? Like he's directing and producing now, all over the place. So let him be that guy. He's great.
Yeah.
What's great about Finn though is they do what's great about the mystery box. We bashed the mystery box approach, but I think that first Force Awakens trailer and Finn, there's so much mystery kind of set up around him that I'm like, another trilogy can just spawn off of that kind of theme and idea. That like there's a building mystery around his new powers of like Force visions. Don't we know that he now has that precognitive ability?
Right.
I don't know what we know.
Yeah, it's a whole trilogy right there. That's a whole trilogy.
Yes.
Done. He's like the mastermind at the center, the Force kind of prodigy.
I love that. All right, we're here to talk about not The Last Jedi. It's 2023, by the way.
Well, I wasn't alluding just to that movie, but
I don't think. Yeah, I think.
We're Force Awakens. Sorry. All right, I'm going to now give you a masterful summary of the book. I also didn't really want to blow the book. There's only like 4 plot points that happen in this book, but I don't even want to do that. So all
right, guys. Right now, we're covering the book, listeners.
Yes,
we're covering the book now.
Right? Should I play the bumper just so everyone knows we're playing Reading Rathtar?
I mean, it is the greatest bumper of all time.
It's pretty good.
Sure.
If you can dig it out.
I've got it right here, actually. All right, stand by.
Nice. Okay.
You're just gonna have to see me dancing and no music's playing.
It's happening, right? Okay.
Take a look. It's in a book.
Reading Rathtar. Reading Rathtar.
This is why you.
I think Adam was back on going Reading Rathtar.
Sorry,
no,
like,
the tone. If the tone deaf one you hear is me.
No,
really?
It's great.
One person just going Reading Rathtar like the entire time.
I was actively trying
to.
That's me. I was actively trying to sing.
You were directed to sing that way, and at this point, it sounds in key. I've heard that bumper so many times.
You're very kind. That was me trying to sing, and that's why I don't sing. Only to my daughter, who there's no recording devices. So that's those rules.
It's great. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Sam Maggs Jedi Battle Scars. So this is this publisher's summary. Just bear with me. Cal Kestis has built a new life for himself. With the crew of the Stinger Mantis, together, Cal's crew has brought down bounty hunters, defeated Inquisitors, and even invaded Darth Vader himself. More importantly, Marin, Seer, Grease, and faithful droid BD-1 are the closest thing Cal has had to a family since the fall of the Jedi Order. Even as the galaxy's future grows, more uncertain by the day, with each blow struck against the Empire, the Mantis crew grows more daring. On what should be a routine mission, they meet a stormtrooper. Determined to chart her own course with the help of Cal and the crew, in exchange for help starting a new life, the Imperial deserter brings word of a powerful, potentially invaluable tool for their fight against the Empire. And even better, she can help them get to it. The only catch, pursuing it will bring them into the path of one of the Empire's most dangerous servants, the Inquisitor known as Fifth Brother. This tool, known as the Shroud, can keep someone hidden from everyone in the galaxy. Can the Imperial deserter truly be trusted? And when Cal and his friends have survived run-ins with the Inquisitors before, how many times can they evade the Empire before their luck runs out? So that's the thing. That's the thing that they do.
That's the thing.
And I mean, like, honestly, I don't really want to give a more detailed version of that because everything else, it's just like, and then this happens and this happens and this happens. There's a character named Chelwanark Frethelrin. Yeah. Chelwanark Frethelrin. Yeah. AKA Fret, AKA Chell.
Yeah. The quote unquote stormtrooper.
Chell.
But here's what I'll say is that, like, this is not, how can I say this? The plot does not matter in this book. Is that fair to say? That this is more about characters and relationships.
Beneath the sheets and the green fire that's outside the perimeter of my doorway.
It's like the green sock on the door or the green tie on the doorknob, right?
The green sock?
Yeah.
I thought it was red sock. Stop.
The tie was the tie's the cliche.
Tie.
I think.
That was the tie. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's also, we didn't. So when I was in college, we weren't all fancy. None of us had ties, so it was socks on the tour.
Same. That's why I said socks.
Socks.
I mean, it was never my sock, but at least anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd like to just start sort of like at Fallen Order, really, like the end of Fallen Order, so we can just give this book some context because it's like, okay, so like at the end of Fallen Order. Spoiler wall for Fallen Order, but please play it. They attain the thing they were looking for, which is this database of all the Force sensitives in the galaxy to date, and they destroy it so that the Empire can't do anything malicious with it. All right, but they also can't create this legacy.
They destroyed it.
Yeah, they destroyed it.
They straight up destroyed it.
I totally forgot that part.
Did you watch the preview section in the game?
When
they
give you a preview at the beginning.
Years.
So they show a little movie before you start playing Jedi Survivor, and that is in it.
Right. Yes.
And that's how I knew that. And I knew it.
But it's also still on the Mantis.
Oh, really? The shards are?
If you look at, there's a wall where you can look at all memorabilia when you go through the Mantis, and it's one of the.
Well, you guys have actually had hands-on time. I've had 0 hands-on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get
we'll
to
just specify that for the.
Yeah. But anyway, so Fallen Order. I'm just saying they completed their mission. So I think the meta thing going on in this book is what are they doing?
Right.
What are they doing now? And they took a whole book to be like, what are we doing now? And ultimately answered it with, we don't know.
Yeah. It's it, which is fair, which I kind of really love. It's just like what I love about it is they all realize who they are and what they all are doing individually.
Yeah.
And what they mean to each other individually, but they're not quite sure what their overarching goal as a family is. And I kind of appreciated that in this book.
All they know is they're risking their lives every day for some larger cause, but they're like not all bought in on the same cause, and they're just like,
right. The sense of family grew in the book, though. Like you feel Grease is the heart, and when he lost his arm, everyone's like, "What are we doing?" Like someone just lost a limb. Like,
what are we doing here?
Like,
and he was saying
we're
that
a family, and we got to look out for each other. And Grease like grabs Cal after like that explosion at the end, and like it's just like there for him, and you're like, oh, this is like the nice dad.
Yeah.
The dad that stepped up. Like after his master fell. He's no one else.
Yeah, he's the goofy uncle.
Breeze loves Cal. You can tell.
Yeah, he's not the dad you may have chosen, but he's the dad you deserve.
Yeah, he's great. And he's a Latero, and he's great.
Yeah,
he's the best looking Latero there
that ever was. I love the handsome jokes all time. I love them.
Here's the problem with the family analogy, or maybe it fits in perfectly with Star Wars, because there's some major vibes between the quote unquote brother and sister of this family.
Oh yeah. This family is like,
let's just call it out. It's Star Wars.
You don't even know what that love is and the depths of that love.
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
To be explored.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh my God, I want to say so many off-color things right now.
I know,
and I'm not going to.
Moving on.
I'm going to make so many references that no one should get. All right.
Well, this book is really about like a love triangle, kind of.
Yeah, it is.
Really, and then second chances and
almost like a quadrangle, but yeah,
that's it. Trust, second chances, love triangle.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I got out of the book. And then, but Sam Maggs, I think, just crushes the Seer, Cal, these stuff. Just annihilates that stuff. It's so good.
Honestly, the writing's fantastic.
Yeah.
I read this. I read this in like 2 sittings, and like one I stayed up till 2 a.m, like without trying. I was like, my Kindle was like, you're running very low on battery. I'm like, I'll just read till my battery dies. And then it was like 2 a.m, and I was like, until it died. And I was like, oh wait, what time is it?
She also enriches the games by just like filling in Cal's sort of backstory of upgrading his items and like why he does it, creating organic reasons for that. And I was like, oh my goodness, like now the game feels like has all this dimensionality.
It's very true.
It's like, you like he did this in his past and he's always been messing with these trinkets and customizing his lightsabers, upgrading it as like training from his master. That was a specific thing his master made him do. So cool.
And I love that they use this. They talked about stims. Like they were like, no, this guy's like a stim crackhead. He's just like stim.
Yeah,
BD with the well-timed stim.
It felt organic, but also maybe like
BD in the cut.
Yeah,
BD just coming through.
It made me start questioning Cal Kestis. No, it's just because I'm like, why are you injecting so many drugs? Anyway, but it's so I had a similar
question.
I had a similar experience where I think this week, like earlier this week, my wife had to do work for school at night, and that happens sometimes. And usually I'll just like watch something on my iPad. And this is the first time I'm like, I'm gonna read. Like I don't normally read at night. And something about this book, because I'll be honest, like we have these assignments that we give ourselves. As you know, whether we had the assignment or not, I would read it because I'm a weirdest completionist.
Adam's reading it no matter what. Like
later on, we'll talk about Hunters
by Marcus Shiro.
Very briefly. I read it. We'll talk very briefly about it later if we want to.
If we want to.
Anyway, if we want to.
We have to.
First class podcasting.
Not everyone gets the clutch assignment when they're being handed out.
I'm reading that. I will read that book. I'm going to join you on the completionist journey, but
if you do it for completionist points,
I might go
for it.
Only.
It's a very quick. It's a very quick read. Anyway, but back to when I was looking at it, I was kind of like, all right, I'm not like super excited to read this video game tie-in. I'll just do it. Even though like Republic Commando, which were like the Republic was the old tie-in video games, some of my favorite series.
So good.
And this proved the same thing, where I was just like super engrossed. Sam Maggs' ability to write relationships is bar none. There are 2 moments in this book where I actively got choked up, and I got to find the highlights. But there's one where she is talking about 2 characters kissing for the first time.
Yeah,
that made me realize, oh my God, that's what I felt like when I was kissing someone for the first time ever, which I haven't thought about that feeling in years.
It got down to like the pores of the tongue. It was intense.
It was eerie. It was eerie to be able to evoke that moment of just like, I didn't think as a 40-year-old who's happily married, who's never going to have another first kiss, it just felt like weird to be able to reconnect with that feeling.
It was metaphorical and very beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Literary.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, if you like it's not easy to be tasked with like, you need to make this like coming of age, like love stories, like it's all this cerebral stuff. I mean, at all. And I thought it was very fun and easy to read. It was great. I do think one thing I just want to like set on the table here is that I think, because we don't get inside the minds of these characters very much in the video games. I mean, the dialogue's fantastic in the video games. But like, I think that gave Sam Maggs license to really just like get into their heads and how are they feeling about things and what are, it was like a really emotional sort of like you get to actually empathize with the characters and know how they're feeling about each other and what their motivations are. And it's like, that's what's so fantastic. It's like they, essentially all they discover is they need to discover more about themselves, which sounds boring, but it's not. It's like, you go on a journey and it's I think it was a fun read. It was a fun book. It was well done.
I agree. Very cool. I was blown away by it. And the other one was the other thing that really threw me for a loop. And I got to find the quote. I couldn't find it earlier, but and I know I highlighted, but Seer talking about
Seer, which I'll never get right.
Seer. I always want to call her Seer, but
Seer to me, but
it's Seer. But talking about wanting to redeem the was it fifth brother in this book?
Oh yeah, fifth brother.
Yeah, and her talking about why it's important to do it. Like I was like, this is what I almost swore wrote that. Yeah. But this is what it means to be a Jedi. There was a moment where I was like, yes, this is a Jedi. Right?
Oh, she was like, she said some of the most brilliant quotes ever. She was like, Jedi don't judge themselves by their successes. They judge whether what they've done is good and for the light. And I was like, oh my goodness! Like that is, that is incredible. Take that away. If there's a takeaway from this book, that was the takeaway.
And it carried through to Survivor. I won't spoil the moment, but there's a moment that felt like that early on in the game with Cal Kestis, where I felt like this is such a Jedi moment of using your lightsaber, but it not feeling like it doesn't feel violent. I can't explain it. Like there was a moment in this game where I was really kind of blown away by in this game already.
Yeah, that's actually fascinating to me because I feel like a lightsaber in itself is so loud and can echo.
Yeah.
It has such a presence to it when it's ignited that you'd think it would be just useful as a sort of tool just to like guide people, warn people, cast fear into predators who are in the wilds or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's a tool, I think, to get by passively as well. It's not just a weapon.
Yeah. Well said. Here, I found a quote. Can I read this quote? Okay. So she watched the twitch of the Inquisitor's lightsaber as it changed course to gut her, and all she allowed herself to feel was empathy. Empathy for Cal and for everything he'd lost, for the poor Inquisitor and for the Knights of the Good that he was supposed to be, for herself and the way that she had to run from everything and everyone in this damn galaxy for her entire life, if only to save it. But most of all, empathy even for the Sith, for the people who would misunderstand and misuse their galaxy-given purpose to destroy balance in the Force, to bend it to their will alone, all for the glory of power and empire and personal gain. Like this idea of empathy, right? This unconditional empathy was kind of amazing. That's a Jedi thing. You can still fight and you can still destroy and everything, but it's empathy. It's all empathy based. And that moment was like, yes. I was literally like pointing at the page going, Jedi. Like this is what a Jedi is.
Pull, Adam. That's a really, really great quote. And we're talking about Sears. Like everyone has their own sort of agenda in this book, and this is where she's at. But I mean, I would call her a little broken. I mean, and as people get broken in the time, she's seen a lot of trauma, and it's certainly warranted. But yeah, she's on this thing now where she's just like so extreme. She's also so powerful. They talk about her as like on par with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda. Like they say she's probably the most.
That's what Cal says. Cal's like she's the most powerful Force user.
Right, but he's never met Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he doesn't know he's alive, and he doesn't know Yoda's alive. True. Whatever.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, I know.
But
that given
in his bubble, and we've seen her go off, and like if she wants to use the dark side, like look out. But but I love that. Yeah, that's where she is at this point. She's like, I'm gonna save everyone. Like I'm not gonna kill anymore. Like this person that's desperately trying to kill me and is I'm gonna save him, and I loved that.
But when we talk about spoilers for Jedi Survivor, I think, because we don't know what everyone did between the time of the end of this book and this, I think Cal learned from that, because there's a moment where he uses that empathy, but still,
we're trying to not spoil the thing that has to be done. Right?
So I've had like 0%.
That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
But in this book, he does get like cut on the nose from like a lightsaber from Fifth Brother,
and it's there. I noticed that.
I haven't had a lot of time with the game.
It's there.
Is the cut there?
It's there.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
In fact, I saw it and I was like, wait a second. I remember that cut, and then I was like, oh yeah, it was like 5 days ago in that book.
Because that's in the book.
Yeah.
Grease, I guess, lost an arm.
Yeah, I mean that's the
Like joke in the game or something.
No, he just has a weird arm.
Wait, can I ask?
If you ever see
do you
Grease,
think there's Obi-Wan?
If you do
crossover, do you guys think there's Obi-Wan crossover with this game?
I was wondering about that. I mean, we're
mocap.
anything's possible. I don't. The way the story's going, I don't think so.
Actors who are now the visages of these animated characters that could just easily jump into Survivor and jump out of. You know what I mean? Like
so.
Yeah.
I got the like.
That would be
I got the like super deluxe version of this game because like I hate money, and like so some of the skins you get with that. Actually, no, all you had to do was pre-order to get this skin.
Yeah, I got these.
Right,
skins
is
too.
you get Obi-Wan's outfit from the Obi-Wan series, and you get his Phantom Menace lightsaber.
Right. Yes. So
is that what you're rocking right now?
The first one I set up was
pause.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the only question that was somewhat spoiler that I was going to ask Ben, and we'll just ask it now since it's coming up organically. So you start with 3 outfits, which is your general like this is supposed to be canon with the game.
Are we supposed to talk about a book right now?
Shut it. Shut it. You asked. So you start with the game. Then you start with the Obi-Wan from Obi-Wan, and then you start with Medal Ceremony Luke. I
got Medal Ceremony Luke and Medal Ceremony Han.
Oh, and Han. You're right. There are the 4. So which skin are you playing right now?
I'm playing
Obi Ben.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm playing Cal Kestis.
Oh, I knew it. I knew you were going to be so beholden to
you're vanilla. You're vanilla.
I can't help it.
All right, I
customized it out. So yeah, we'll get into it. But the customization is like,
it's amazing,
jaw dropping.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just I did. I like started to do that,
and
I did start with the
Guys, if
Phantom Menace Hill.
The customization isn't jaw dropping and like the level design isn't open, I'm gonna come back and talk.
Grant,
to you guys
I know you're a tough customer, and I know like you're like Fallen Order wasn't open world enough, and I get that.
I'm like, no, but you can spoil a little bit of the customization. How nitty gritty is the customization?
I mean, do you want 16
different
facial hair options?
Okay, I mean, you have to unlock them.
Clothing? Are you talking about like the wrist attire?
Yo, dude. So like when you get a paint set. You don't get just a paint for anything. You get a color palette swath of 5 colors for like one aspect of 5 for a certain object in the game.
For like BD, the shit.
Yeah, for like BD's, for BD's
face.
Highlights, you get like, unlocked a color swath for just the accent piece.
All right, so we'll buy the game based on this dialogue right now.
Me,
I would,
because
crazy.
Dude, I could have finished the game today, but I spent 3 hours customizing my lightsaber.
You were just customizing.
I was rolling around and I found Cal Kestis's full beard, and I made it a little dance in my seat because I was able to give him a beard.
Yeah, the beard, the full beard. I'm rocking that too. But if you rock the Obi-Wan outfit with that full beard, I'm just saying. It looks tight.
Ooh, that's good. So I'm doing a Medal Ceremony Luke, and I'm doing Luke's lightsaber as well, which is weird because it's a double lightsaber, but whatever.
So when you say Medal Ceremony Luke, it's the yellow jacket.
But you can change the color of the jacket, bruh.
You can, yeah.
You can change the color of the pants.
Oh, that's sick.
And like also when you do different colors, you kind of get different styles too.
I kind of like what Poe was rocking in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah,
felt like he was an explorer, you know.
Yeah,
like
it was a little indie. Anyways, the book something.
The book, yeah, which we all really really liked.
Yeah, but we all want to talk about the game because everyone wants to talk about the game.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get back to the book.
Yeah, I mean, put a bow on it. We don't need to talk about this book forever.
Marin, can we get into Marin, guys?
Yes, please.
Main character of the book, because obviously Seer and Cal, we can pretty much wrap that up. I mean. Cool to see that Cal wants to destroy the Empire, and Seer's like, no, we got to keep this legacy intact.
Cal's fairly unchanged
sort of
by
differing
this book.
points of view.
He's unchanged, but I thought they were really subtle about Cal having the hots for Marin. They were like very subtle.
Yes,
about it.
At the end of the book, he has the hots for everyone in like. right?
Well,
like not the hots, but
I mean,
like,
he loves his
he
family.
gets a lot of hugs, and he's like, "This feels nice." Attachment, hugs, great. I love.
Yeah,
this.
I think I see what you're coming from. I think part of it was is you get to the end and you almost see him questioning, do I have romantic feelings?
Yeah,
for,
exactly.
For her, or do I have,
hots,
or do I
like,
just have familiar love?
Yeah, because I think
for
he's
her?
like,
nonetheless, it was provoked of some.
he's never
reason,
contemplated romantic feelings before. He's never been allowed.
Yeah,
so
there's that great moment.
So I think it's he's kind of organically humble, and he's like, "What's this feeling I'm having about this person right now? I really like her," and it's like,
alien and weird,
and it's kind of weird, but it's very sweet and innocent and like and kind of cool. And then later on, Fret is like, by the way, Cal. And so we should talk about that to Marin. And she's like, if you and Cal ever get together, like, I understand. And Marin's like, what? Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's sort of sad to me because it's like unrequited. It's going to be unrequited love, obviously. And because Marin doesn't even, she's like, I don't think about you at all.
Yeah. She's like, what?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of a bummer, but you never know.
No, she loves Cal as like as a member of their.
I don't want to
family.
say friend zoned, but I already said friend zoned.
Or like,
she kind of friend zoned
brother, like a brother in the family,
she,
right? Like it just is a whatever.
Yeah,
but
no,
there's
forget I said friend zoned. I'll try and edit that out. She's just like,
no,
I just like
fine.
him. I love him. He's like a family member, but not a romantic thing.
Ben, we know you don't mean that in an MRA type of way.
Yeah.
Like we mean it when it when it was when it was used in the quaint like early aughts, and it wasn't a whole thing.
Now I'm realizing how toxic a statement that is, and I'm like, ugh.
We can vouch for Ben.
Is it? I don't know.
Ben doesn't buy into any of that stuff. I had the same thought when I was reading
But
it.
yes, that was, I mean, I felt for him because if you've ever been in that position and you're like, gosh, I really like this girl and I wish it was like romantic and you just like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, and I also did not mean to indict Cal
no.
about his feelings for people, but like it did feel like he was like, what is this? This is attraction, like, or something at the very end.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's very interesting. And
like, why would you hint at that in any way other than it being, I'm a little attracted to these people, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think, and what the other thing I was thinking about is when we talked about like, when I'm going on my, crazy Mara Jade is going to finally show up.
I like that theory, dude. I'm on that.
That's
I'm
a crazy theory.
Name X property. Right now it's Ahsoka. We'll see. But part of what that's leading to is when we get is ostensibly what's going to be episode 10, but they're not going to call it episode 10. But when we get Rey's New Jedi Order, they better in that movie address attachment and love. Like, I need that answer.
And I think they should go.
That's the other foot that needs to drop after the prequels. I'm like, how about we like talk about that with a new relationship, and maybe that one goes well, and we can actually celebrate Star Wars with as a more I don't know, brighter.
Yes,
happy
I'm hopeful
IP.
for that too. I really, my headcanon, that has to happen. Like, they have to address it and be like, you know what, let's not be monks.
It's okay at times.
Yeah, attachment's actually like our order is built on love, because so many plot points have been like, oh, I love this person, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. Like, I think
that's what the sequels tried to do with Finn and Rey, but it just didn't work. Like, it never. Their journey gets splintered off into other, to mix with other journeys, and it doesn't. I thought what was so strong about them in the beginning was like, oh, they're attached to each other. They like care about each other deeply.
Right. Well, the Force Awakens.
Isn't that
both of them
the thing? Isn't that the answer to Anakin and Pat? Isn't that the answer to the last attachment story? You know what I mean? Like, isn't whatever we're exploring with them,
right?
You know?
And that wasn't even the
non-toxic attachment is good.
Right.
Toxic attachment is bad.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you set up their meeting in Force Awakens is a meet cute that can be taken out of any screwball comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like it's literally just the dialogue of screwball comedy of two characters meeting who fall in love, and so that's why I was always like, you have to have these characters have some romantic attachment. You set it up in the first film, like that meeting.
The first film's like, hey, how about these two?
Yeah,
you're like, oh yeah, I guess these two. Right?
Yeah, stop holding my hand.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
so good. That moment is so good.
That whole bit is so great.
Yeah. Anyways, The Force Awakens again.
But the romance in this book, I think, is so powerful, and it was fun to actually see.
It really was, yeah.
A Night Sister on fire for this
She
stormtrooper
was feeling
run away.
Yeah, she was all about that threat.
The basking in the red light of the single son of Dathomir. She was
God, I got to look and see if I've got any quotes from like her being in.
Yeah, it's hot, and it's all about like the Dathomir, like red sand desert sweat. Heat,
it's so good.
Sweat. Yeah. Like it's so good.
My favorite thing about Merrin is like she was my favorite character in Jedi Fallen Order, but like they didn't give her a lot of plot development because it's not her story, right, in that game, and they kind of give her the Night Sister kind of slightly Russian accenty thing.
But it kind of goes away at the end of the book. But okay,
with Star Wars books is
right. It also
is always like Russian or like Middle Eastern.
It's interesting.
Like the audiobooks. And I'm like, let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Yeah, let's not do any
Bane,
American.
Don't listen to the Bane books. Like read Bane books.
Yeah. But I'll say like so at times she felt very caricature-y in the game, and so I really like this book because it really built her character out in a way that if she shows up in the next game, I'm very excited to see her because I feel like I'll connect with her at a deeper level.
Oh, you haven't seen her in Survivor yet?
No, sir.
No comment.
Wow,
dude, they're slow playing it.
If I'm gonna be upset about Survivor, I wanted playable Merrin. I'm coming to Survivor being like, where is playable Merrin?
I think
and then I'm gonna play Cal and be like, oh, it's all the same stuff I unlocked at the end of the game, and why am I doing this?
We'll talk
I don't want that to happen to me. Is that happening to you guys?
No, it's still early days, man. I mean, this game is massive. I don't know what the playtime.
Yeah, we're like 5% in.
Night Sister magic,
at
like
most.
I use that magic and stuff.
I mean, so let's talk
the fight with the fifth brother, where she's like throwing magic, like fireballs at him, and Cal's just like chopping him up with the lightsaber. I was like, this is cool.
Bro, zombies like. Effing zombies.
I want to see that.
She was like, I was like, yes.
Sarah,
dude, the first time she raised the dead, I was like pumping my fist. I was like, yes. I'm like, this is canon. Let's go. Zombies, let's go.
Yeah. I was going to say, Merrin's like the main character in this book. Like,
yes.
If I had to pick one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally.
I mean, she's my favorite member. She's the most interesting member of that crew. I mean, a Dathomirian witch? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. When they introduced her in the game, I was like, is this just like a side plot? Because she's incredible. And like, this is awesome.
She's like fully part
of
your crew.
That, I think, to your credit, Ben and Adam, about taking this as kind of like one of the more, I would say, like highly produced, stories in the litany of Star Wars projects that are out there right now. Like this game series being as good as movies. I think you guys are correct in the regard of Merrin, because like she comes out of nowhere and she's like, oh, I like these characters are super cinematic. Like they feel like they could be the main leads of any movie. Like they're great.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, I mean, I said it earlier, so I guess I agree with myself still. So what I was gonna say is that, remember that like Sam Maggs, we talked about her, using game mechanics from Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Right? But they also said that, she also, in her acknowledgments, talked about getting early access to Survivor and playing with Survivor and watching Survivor. So I think we are also getting teases of game mechanics we may see in Survivor.
Oh, wow.
So
okay,
what this is all leading to is if we do see Merrin, which I'm guessing we will at some point.
Yeah.
I think the raising the dead will be a game mechanic in this game. I think we're going to see.
Oh, you're saying playable Merrin will happen?
Or
you're saying as an ally,
I think an
character
ally,
running around?
As an ally who will, when you're using her, be able to raise fallen stormtroopers.
I feel like they'd save that for a cutscene or something.
I'm guessing you're going to get gameplay of it.
I love that. I think you're being hopeful, but I hope it happens too.
I have theories about gameplay when we get to the game.
I mean, let's face it, we're kind of in the game already.
Are we at the game? I mean, like the book was kind of ended.
No, we're just so excited, dude. There were so many good things that happened in this book, and I mean, I know we can just sort of like wrap it up sooner than later. But I mean, like they go
cool planets like Marcana, and
that's what I was going to say. That's in the Tarkin novel.
Oh,
that's
right.
the first novel under under Disney that they wrote was a Tarkin novel,
right?
And that was the planet you go to. I thought that was an amazing callback.
Yeah, that is very cool. I didn't catch that.
Or
nice.
What's the other place called? It's the other planet.
I forget.
Zamira, I think.
Yeah, Zamar. Yeah, that sounds right. But I mean, Marcana. I just thought Marcana was a great callback.
Yeah, that's super.
I mean,
cool.
we could talk more about. I had a thing about Cal, but another thing about Cal, but forget about it. Doesn't matter. Oh, his sense echo, like them. Just I had a quote about talking about his sense echo, like what it's like. He's like halos, like Cal got after a bad migraine when he pushed his force abilities too hard. He's like visual, sound, even emotions, all distorted. They were his, but they weren't his. A memory he shouldn't be holding, one that didn't belong to him, overlaid onto his own thoughts. Yeah. I mean, so it goes on and on. But like, it's beautiful prose about like what a sense echo is.
Yeah. So I suffer from migraines. Actually, they often are triggered from playing video games for too long. So I'm surprised I haven't gotten one yet today. So fingers crossed. But I read that and I'm like, oh, like, thank you for reading it again. No, but it was just one of those things that I'm just like, it's so triggering. I read that. I'm like, oh God, that sounds awful. Anyway, sorry. I get dry. Don't worry. I get the dry migraines now, which is what I call them. I don't get the pain, but I get the halos, like, and loss of vision. Ooh. It's super wacky. It's super fun. But luckily no like crippling pain anymore.
Good.
So
well, happy for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyway.
I guess that was just about the text and stuff. I mean,
no, it's super well written. It's super. I mean, it made me like be able to completely identify what was going on.
Haxian Brood. Do we want to cover?
All right.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. They're boring.
Are they in Survivor at all?
Early days, buddy. Early days.
Early
days. I will say, all right. So the only other person I really want to talk to about in this is Seer. I know we talked about her a little before. You had that great quote from her. I have another one for the Gray Jedi people. I don't know why I'm on this personal quest to be like, there's no such thing as Gray Jedi, but I'm like, I'm right there. So like, this is.
Wait, why is there no such thing as Gray Jedi? What?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because here's a quote.
I'll think of this side.
Here's a quote from Seer. The dark side of the Force, your potential connects. Your potential connection to it. Sarah responded, oh yeah, because she was worried about him falling to the dark side, is not something to turn on and off like a faucet. It's not a switch you flick when you need it. It's the first step on a road you often can't get off once you start down it. And that is what Freddie Prinze Jr. said. That's what, Dave Filoni said. Like, there's no such thing. You can't just like, all these like guys just want to be like, yeah, but like when I need to be angry, I'm angry, like the Hulk or something. Like, and it's like, no, that's not how the Force works.
No, a Gray Jedi is just a fallen Jedi who's halfway there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why. So the term can exist. Then are you trying to like the term? I'm confused.
Term, I don't mind the term. It's just
why can't the term be used? You mind the term
because like people think it's like it is a persistent state, and it's not. It's like
that's my thing.
You're not gray. You're either going down the dark
transitory state.
You're either going down the dark path or you're a Jedi. And there's no in between.
Yeah.
And when you're betwixt, you're not gray for like the transitory period in which you're betwixt.
Not in my head. Listen, you're making a good point, Grant. And like you could say Seer is a Gray Jedi, right? Like that's what I think the ideal that a lot of like internet fans think is like Seer is essentially a Gray Jedi in this novel. But I in my headcanon, no. It's like because it's Gray Jedi is not a state. It's just like.
To me, it's been Gray Jedi since they basically became they basically joined with the bureaucracy of the core worlds. I think that they all became gray at that point. That's my own personal ideology. I would argue they
everyone's a Gray Jedi.
Organic world.
There's like only Gray Jedi.
Sadly, I think there's just it's built up into this massive monastery, and it's not a good thing. I think it needs to be more attuned to planetary like cycles and a natural world. And I think, similar to the spherical sort of temples you saw on Dantooine in the KOTOR games, it's like those to me that feels like they were more attached to the earth and the environment than being trapped in the cityscape and dealing with all these bureaucratic matters that I think are drifting away from I think the light. I think corruption is happening all around them, and they just can't see through people's lies, and they're just at that point gray, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I would argue that I think that term applies to even a vast area of the timeline with the Jedi history.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with all this.
Certain Jedi. Yeah.
So so the sociologist in me needs to pipe up
Here
for
we
a second,
go.
because what's happening, what's
Dr.
happening
Adam?
is we're having a semantics argument in terms of definition, in terms of terminology.
Yes.
Right. I think what's happening is we're all agreeing with.
Thank you for bringing sanity to this conversation.
Yes.
You're welcome. Because we're all agreeing with each other.
I'm happy to lose, by the way.
It's not an argument. We're just a conversation as Dr. Adam is presenting right now.
It's not an argument at all. It's just a discussion. Because we're all respecting each other and not and I don't think we're all open to being.
No, I think this is a larger debate within the fan community. Honestly,
well, yeah,
Jedi, the term, the jargon, the idea.
That's the thing. It's the term. It's not. What's really funny about this, the whole thing with the Dark Jedi that always gets me, is I think we all agree with Ben that it's not a permanent state.
100%.
And I think what we all get upset with are the people out there who think it's a permanent state, because that's BS, right? And so because of those people, the term Gray Jedi is tainted, right? But we all agree. Like, I think of it as a transitory state, right? That people who are Gray Jedi are either Jedi who are just going down.
Oh, they're about to be dark. Don't
Jedi.
Worry, it's about to be dark.
Right,
we're moving through the spectrum to dark.
Or conversely, I think it might be going the other way too, which never gets any attention.
That's Seer to tie it back to the book,
of a dark Jedi who is coming back to the light, right? Who is just starting to play with almost like a Ben Solo type of way of being pulled to the light,
or Reva.
Right?
The problem with Ben Solo is he murdered people outright in the first film, where I was like, you could have been a Gray Jedi, but you just outright.
Well, at that point, he's a full-on
you are a
Jedi.
Yeah, not even a Sith, but just a
Can
dark
we talk
Jedi,
about murder in reference to this book? Because they kill so many. I mean, the first act, they kill hundreds of people.
Yeah, Kylo's
beings.
the stormtrooper's neck cracked, and I didn't look
back. Yeah,
behind me.
But he deserved it. You're like, wait, what is
keep
this?
moving. I was like, that's the gameplay. Bang.
Yeah, it's dark, man. What they do to people in this thing, and
I think that's why Sam Eggs chose a stormtrooper to kind of highlight. She's like, all you do is just destroy countless stormtroopers in these games. Let's just give
that's the thing.
Let's humanize one and make it a really interesting character that.
It's based on a game, right? Because that's the thing. I've played Jedi Survivor for 5 hours at this point, probably, and I've probably, as Cal Kestis, murdered more humans than Luke did in all of the series, including the 2 Death Stars. He blew.
Wow!
Right. I'm just and they brought back dismemberment.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just dismembering fools back like left and right, and I'm like, I'm a Jedi. I think.
Yeah.
So what happens?
Yeah, man.
No transgressions, or else.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, and they never think of it it's such an introspective story, but they're never I just murdered 20 people.
Yeah.
I'm ready for those moments though.
She's I murdered
in the alleys of
Marin murders a whole room of people and then reanimates their corpses and throws them at another enemy that she needs to kill. I mean,
but at least she's dark, right? They talk about the fact that he is
unapologetically dark. I actually love the talk about what dark magic is, because I always thought it's just the Force, but it's not exactly the Force. It's the Force amplifying witch power, sorcery. Essentially.
Yeah. Which is some of the stuff we're seeing kind of in the High Republic comics, right? With these other Force users that are on Jedha, right? This idea of it seems to be the Force amplifies certain cultures, belief systems in different ways.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. But
all right. So
we see that
Gray Jedi term that anyone can use.
We see that, but to bring it back, we see that in the Chiss, right? The Chiss's connection to the Force is different because of their culture, right? The kids get it, and it goes away by the time they're adults, right? And they only use it to navigate, right? It's really fascinating.
And it affects everyone different. I'd love to talk about. So they talk about Marin's relationship to her dark magic in this a lot, And she really thought that the source of her power was her home planet, Dathomir. But by the end of the book, I was like, is it love? Like, so essentially she has a reawakening as soon as she falls in love with Fret. And like all of her inner powers come back with abandon. Like she becomes, by the end, I think she says, I feel as powerful as Mother Tanzin, like the most powerful person they have. And I really think that it's like, I mean, I guess it could be dark magic, but it's like her deep attachment.
This is where the
power.
stories need to go. It's fascinating. I think Adam alluded to it earlier. It's like, what is attachment? What is love? Like,
the love is the force.
Us,
Force is the love.
If you want to comment on this, we need an actual comment. I mean, no, this book's brilliant because I think the mystery of it's beautiful, and like the romance is amplified by the mystery of the feelings that people are having. I'm just saying, as larger IP, like we eventually have to get into that. Is it dark? Like,
no.
Is it because she's in love? Her dark magic is amplifying? No, it can't be. Like,
it opens up her connection to
Obi-Wan
herself,
and Luke. Attachment is Luke,
I know,
Han,
but
and
it's
Leia.
like her, like you know what love does to you, right? It
Ben
makes
and Ray, you know,
engaged,
like it's the best.
right?
Ben and Ray,
and it's like, but for some reason, that's to me that seems like the common denominator to like why all of a sudden she's enraged. If she's a dark side user, and like it's the fear, the deep fear you have about someone you love, like losing someone you love or something bad happening to them, that is like I think fueling her fire.
Like the dyad commentary is such a sidestep from kind of like what we actually need to talk about. It's wild.
We can't.
Anyways,
we
can't even.
Hold on. Hold on.
It's such a like, really? They're adding this on. All right. Okay.
All right. Here's the thing. Ben, I got to respond because I agree with you. Love, absolutely, right? The fear of losing that person is doing that. Like being like a new father, thinking about that. Like that,
all the
that
negative
old adage
parts
that
of love,
like,
right?
But, I mean, okay, this is going to get super sappy for a second. I'm just sorry. But like, I've only been the best version of myself when I am actively in love with someone.
All right.
When I'm not in love with someone, I am not the best version of myself. And that's not to say I'm defined by the people I love, but when you love someone, you want to be the best version of yourself, right? And so I honestly am starting to believe when I'm reading this stuff that love is the connection to the Force, right? Attachment is the connection to the Force. It can go good and it can go bad. It's depending on how you use that, right? Like not everyone who is in love ends up being super jealous and a stalker, right? That's the dark side of love.
That's
right,
Adam. I think you just changed my life with
love.
that statement. Actually, I've never thought about it that way, but you're dead.
Incredible. I love this.
I think you made me a better person because of that statement right there. Yeah, I've never thought about it that way, but you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. No, love. Love and being loved is, I think, it's definitely going to bring out your
when
best.
You're caring about someone
parts.
other than yourself, you are your best self.
Can I also ask you a question? If the Jedi really didn't want attachment, why did they do the master and apprentice model? Because that will absolutely engender love.
So we rip you away from your family.
Just a
here's a father figure,
weird like apprentice
or a mother figure.
Here's one person. Here's one person that you will gain all knowledge and connection with. That's not going to lead to love.
Oh yeah, and it always is love, by the way. Like every single Padawan and no, I mean like Dooku and Qui-Gon.
No, but I think Qui-Gon loved Dooku.
Actually, Qui-Gon did love Dooku. And
Dooku,
absolutely.
I mean, if we looked at the Tales of the Jedi, like Dooku loved Qui-Gon.
I think Dooku loved Yoda too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when he talks to him, he's like, my old master. Like, he has reverence for what they were.
How could you not love Yoda? Like, if he was your master, bro.
Yoda's your master? You kidding me?
I love him right now, and he doesn't know who I am, right? But it's like, yeah, if he was your master, forget about it.
I just want to say thank you, Sam Max, because this is not something I have been sitting on for a long, long time. It was really this book that kind of just like put all these puzzle pieces together in my brain that I've been sitting on for a long time, because Anakin's speech about love, like what is love and what is attachment and what is like that whole speech he has, right? Is it episode 3 or episode 2? What episode does he, when he's trying to convince, episode 2, when he's trying to convince Padme it's okay to love?
No, episode 3. Because it's already happened, and she's just like, no, you're right, it's episode 2. He's like, so you could say loving is central to compassion is central to a Jedi's. Like, yeah.
He is so close. He's so close to being right, but he twists it, right? Because it's that sinister side of it, right? The fear of loss. That if you're not figuring out how to deal with that fear of loss.
Exactly. It's like, I've never seen this animal before, but if anything bad happened to it, I'll kill you and everyone in this room and then myself. that meme. I don't know if you've seen that meme, but I love it because I know.
It would be fun. Yeah. And it would be fun to see a trilogy that heavily focuses on an Anakin and Padme type, a romance that tightly wound and sort of romantic and Shakespearean, like something like that. Again, it just takes it in a wildly different direction, like just a weird new direction. Like that would be so much fun. Sam Maggs would crush.
Dude, last week there was like this British like talk show, and they had Natalie Portman on, and somehow this dude got her to act out like scenes in rapid succession.
No way.
Of Star Wars. Like, and it's like her like I hesitate to say worst lines, but just like, and it was amazing. And they had like little rushed costumes that they put on, and this I don't even know the guy's name that was like the host of this show, but it was so cringy.
Was it Graham Norton?
It was so cringy, but she nailed the lines, obviously.
That's amazing.
I thought Natalie Portman was. I thought like Phantom Menace is like my third or fourth favorite Star Wars film. I think it's fourth or fifth, actually. Now that I think about it, mainly because of the Queen Amidala sort of like acting and like the lines and just like the strength of that performance. I was blown away by that when I was 10
I know, but
I
think the nature of how they did the joke was that like they pulled it entirely out of, like, when it's just like two people in bad costumes saying the lines, it's really bad. But like in the context of this like space mythos, it's
space opera.
I loved it, and I always will. But it was.
But like Amidala as a character,
great character.
In the first instances of seeing that character for the first time, I thought that was very Star Warsian. I thought it was very smart to do like Hidden Fortress, almost like this royal character. I thought it was so smart. I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah, I loved the voice. The voice threw me. I was like, why is she talking like that? And then it was like so much mystery, and then
so cool. Yeah. There we go. That's why the Phantom Menace is powerful.
It's so fascinating because I remember when we watched Hidden Fortress like way back when for this. That was my first time watching it. I'm like, oh no, this didn't influence the original trilogy. This influenced the prequel trilogy. That's what he's just like. No, you know what? I know I kind of took like R2D2 C3PO from these two characters, but I was gonna do everything else. Like I'm just gonna straight on do it for the prequel trilogy. Like there's no. Like it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, no, movie. I mean, I love Phantom Menace, and honestly, we just quoted Attack of the Clones again. Like, Attack of the Clones will always have a spot.
Attack of the Clones is...
it's my favorite prequel trilogy.
That thought is weirdly catching on. Like, a lot of people are out here for Attack of the Clones, and it's quite strange to witness.
Everyone's like, wait.
I'm kind of thinking it's not cool anymore because of it. No, Too many of you out there start gravitating towards Attack of the Clones, I'm going to stop liking it. Letting everyone know that.
Attack of the Clones is pure unfiltered Lucas.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it. It is pure unfiltered
I mean,
Lucas.
that's going to be the real test of the sequels. Are there going to be people that like become nostalgic for like
it's not Lucas though, it's
somehow
that weird,
the Emperor's
like,
Return.
It's the weird like hippie alien like late 60s early 70s sort of like counterculture like Star Wars movie. Because it's like the Greys, like it's like
that's Lucas.
It just has the most.
I mean, Lucas wanted to do the saucer people for Indiana Jones for the longest time. They didn't let him do it, so he's like, you know what? I'm going to do it in my Star Wars movie. Yeah. Deal with it, Spielberg.
Every Indiana Jones idea in one movie. It's like insane. It's packed. It's just the weirdest stuff.
It's like a film noir subplot. It's great. It's Lucas. Just like it's Lucas. He did Phantom Menace. He's like, I thought I was gonna give you what you wanted, and you hated it. So now I'm just doing it for me. I'm doing it for me. That's what Attack of the Clones is. It's great.
Yeah, what the world's most expensive indie films, the prequels.
It's so true.
All right, we've digressed completely.
Should we talk about the game?
Yeah. All right. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and play the bumper for There's Only One Game. It's a really catchy bumper. I'm going to do it, and then we're going to officially talk about the game. Ready? Here's the bumper. You got to wait for a second. There's literally only one game. There's only one game. Yep, that's me just like babbling into a mic being like, there's only one game. Why is there only one game? Because there is only one game.
Only one game.
And it's like you have infinite resources and you like money. And like
Are you getting mad about the one actually pretty good game that's out right now?
I'm getting mad
I
that
would go
there's
more than
only
pretty
one.
good.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like, and like sooner or later, it's
okay.
like just print money. There's all these great video game companies that control these games. Just like maybe they just like don't like they can't scale that high to like take care of all the like IP that they're churning out. In which case, if you need people on your story group, I'm available. You can reach me here.
We all can write an email.
coreworldnews@gmail.com. Just like ask for Ben.
We will write you a script for a
10
mediocre
pitches,
game. It's great.
10
It's fine.
treatments.
Oh my god, we will.
Two full screenplays.
It'll be a perfectly fine.
How many games do you want?
Game.
You know, like let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm in. Yeah. So, anyways, there's only one game.
Just a BR, just a battle royale on like Nelhutta, with just all the things you've seen in Mandalorian as items to pick up. Oh, that writes itself. It's done.
So yeah, it's I don't know. I think part of why there's only one game. I know we're trying to move past this. Is like I think it's their obsession with canon, which we can see from the novel. Which I'll do my like 1 minute Hunters review book. It's a young reader, so it's it's a quick read. It's fine. The thing about that book is that they are. I don't know. That's a good question. I should have all
let's
this
just at least
ready.
say what the book is before we start talking about it.
Mark Ishiro wrote
Mark, who is a valiant effort.
And what's the name of the book? It's just called Hunters?
Hunters Battle for the... Sorry, my iPad.
It's based on the hero shooter type. Was a mobile game coming out or Switch game? Or
it's gonna be on Switch.
Switch.
Sorry, my Kindle literally just shut down while I was about to like pull all this stuff up. I thought I was like so ready to do this. Hunters Battle for the Arena.
It's a game, Ben, and it's coming out soon. So there'll be 2 games.
Kind of.
Is it
right,
coming out?
Is it coming out because it's been coming out for a long time and then being shut down for a long time too?
It's never coming out. It's never gonna happen. Yeah,
it's in the Timelines book. I think I saw Hunter's stuff. I was reading the Timelines book.
There's a lot of this book they finally put out because they're like, you know what, we don't know when this game's coming out, but we have this book, we just got to put it out there. And I paid $9.99 for it. So it's fine. $10, it is $10. Yeah, because I'm a completist. The author does a valiant job. It's well written. It is very well written. It is bending over backwards to try to have this explanation for why you have all these disparate type of characters. One a Force user, another one ex-Stormtrooper, another one Trandoshan, a Wookiee, 2 Jawas on top of each other. In a battle,
not the way you think.
Oh, you mean like BoJack Horseman?
I don't.
3 guys in a
I
trench coat?
don't know what they do when they're. I don't know what they do when they're not in the arena.
Not here to judge you, really.
We all know.
Yeah, more power to you. So
very hairy.
You know,
very hairy.
Very, very hairy. So the story is interesting in terms of like it's about this main character. I can't even remember names. This is just going to be a real quick version, but like I'm not even going to do the summary of it because what it is like I'm trying to explain how you have all these characters fighting constantly and being randomized into groups, but not dying as you would if you were having people fight each other all the time. So like they do all these things in the novel where it's just like, oh, they wear these special wraps that mean they don't get injured, and they work on these backstories where it makes it feel like WWE basically, like wrestling. But then so it's really clunky. And again, more power to the writer.
Yeah, can you believe that job?
You are doing the Lord's work trying to fit this thing into canon. But can we just let canon go sometimes, especially with the games? So that is my like quick review of Hunters Battle for the Arena.
All right.
It's also risky territory because this galaxy has many problems, and a lot of people who are in gladiatorial rings are like fighting against their will, and it's like you're really gonna write like a junior novel, like or a young kids book about
big swing.
That sort of an environment,
big swing.
Like maybe no.
It's
book
a big
for that
swing
game.
on top of a big swing. You're like, okay,
because it's a young reader,
Yes.
right, Adam?
It is a young reader. However,
What?
I want to read 2 things that made this book. That made this book.
Oh, it is like a
worth
Nintendo
reading.
Switch game, though. It is like
It is on
for
Switch.
young
It's
kids.
it's a legit game.
Yeah. It's like
If we ever see it.
I'm sucking
So
for those.
2 things that make it the book almost worth reading. The first is that they introduce the subgenre of music called gonk rock.
yes, let's go.
They didn't introduce that. That's something else, isn't it?
I think that's
Gonk
fresh.
Rock? I don't know.
Oh,
about
maybe
that.
not.
It's
Is it
the
just
style.
a gonk for going gonk? And
let me inform you. So it's the style originated from groups who ran their amplifiers through Gonk series droids, so their name just stuck. It was loud. It was fast. It's punk rock. It's punk rock in it because the author also includes fake names of bands, which to me, having some punk rock thing is there's one called Good Clone, Bad Clone, which is a takeoff of Good Cop, Bad Cop, which is a punk rock band, which is hilarious. And what's the other one that's there? It's and the main character was in a band called Corellia's Not Dead, that played in a place called the Blue Factory. Oh, and there's spies. There's the Spires of Batu. So
wow, there's a lot of band names there
it.
For one genre. That's awesome.
Yeah, you're making me want to read this book now. I've totally turned full circle on this book.
Sure. So anyway, I really appreciate Gonk Rock and then I have questions about actually, this is a somewhat segue into this game. So Ben, have you gotten to the point of this game? Now we're talking about a Jedi Survivor.
Yes,
it's gonna be like a very organic.
Yeah, I'm plugging my ears. No, I'm joking.
No, so there's a mechanic where you can buy things from a shop. Have you gotten to the point where you can buy things from a shop?
I've gotten to that point, but I have not bought things from a shop.
So I bought something, but I didn't buy what I wanted to, which is you could buy music tracks at the shop, which I haven't bought one yet.
You're telling Ben he can buy music tracks? Oh,
so there's in-game music tracks you can buy. I don't know how they play or what they are, but there are music tracks you can buy in the game.
I bet you can play them in bars. I'll just say bars.
In bars,
and
that makes sense.
If you happen to go to a bar at some point, you could play it in that bar.
Yeah.
Are you guys trying to tease that there's like sweet nightlife environments in this game? Like some street food and sweet cantina action?
See, that's the thing. I've gotten to the second planet. Right? Adam and I have gotten to the second planet.
Same. We're right around the same.
Yeah, Grant's on the first still, which is fine. There's like sort of. I don't even really want to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
There's but like.
How much elation did it give you on a scale from
the first planet? A lot.
Or the thing you don't want to say?
I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not. No, it's just a pointless factoid that like I don't need to say.
All right. Oh, okay.
No, I'm just sorry. Yeah. But I have to say, after what I've played, like I have no idea where this game's going. I just know it's going to be big. I have heard rumors that this planet, the second planet, is the biggest planet in the game.
I would assume.
But I don't know. But like I have like the way the story's blossomed, I don't know where it's going. So I don't know, but I do know the mechanics. Like we should talk about some of the mechanics because I think the goal of this should be to like get you all fired up to play this game, because the story's going to be great and it's going to be important. And also, it's going to be super fun. Like, I guess we should mention that, like, PC players are having a really hard time right now.
Really?
Decent Discord.
It's for some reason it's like 49 gigabytes on a console, but it's like 149 gigabytes on a PC.
Whoa!
And the optimization's all messed up, and like people are having a really hard time with it. So, I mean. If you're a PC only gamer, like maybe give it a month for them to like do patches and whatnot, but they're having a lot of problems. But everyone else, it got like a 9.8 or something on like IGN. Like it got like a it's been getting great reviews, and I believe it because it's much more open. It's a much more open game.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go through the first planet, it's pretty much like a continuation of Fallen Order, just because that's like your like training planet. It's like you getting comfortable with the mechanics and the new mechanics that they're bringing in.
Yep. I was in that first planet that you're on. I was a little underwhelmed, to be honest, because it felt like I'm just playing an upscaled version of Fallen Order, right? Like it felt very much like just Fallen Order again. And then when you get to the second planet, that's when I'm like, oh no, this is the game. Like this is the new game. And I'm like, this is awesome. And like I have a feeling, like you said, Ben, this is probably your hub. I'm thinking this is your hub world. This is the world that you are going to be traveling from and traveling back to. And like there's so many things to explore that I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I have no idea when I can do this. I have no idea what this thing is. I got to figure out some other mechanic before I can come back to figure out what this thing does.
Tracker mines. You play with tracker mines a lot?
Yeah, been throwing those things around, grabbing them,
All
throwing them, doing other stuff. I have one that I'm like trying to figure out how to get one to come over. I don't even know where they're located in the second world. Yeah.
So there's and it's huge. Like I mean, I'd been on the second planet for however long, and I think it for hours. Maybe mainly because I was customizing my lightsaber for hours, but it says like I've only done like 12% of it, and I've covered so much ground.
Same.
And I'm like, okay. No, I can't. I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight. I think I'm gonna get off this podcast and just
mounted gameplay. There's apparently mounts in this game.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but
neither have I. I haven't done either, but I know
they've teased. They've suggested.
Yeah, they touted that feature pretty early on in the trailers and stuff.
I mean, I think I've discovered where I will get my mount.
Oh, cool!
But I haven't been able to mount.
Something yet. I
Crazy.
wonder if it's something that you have to pay for or earn or something.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's going to... No, I think it'll
I have a
Just
feeling...
like a beast, the Force or something, done deal.
I'm wondering about that because you see the mounts in the wild. So I'm like, I bet there's a mechanic where...
Oh, so it's like Horizon where you just like can commute the wildlife or whatever.
I'm guessing. Again, I haven't done it yet, but
Same.
I think that's where they're going with it.
Oh, cool.
But so it's like if you've played Horizon Zero Dawn, if you've played Game of War... or God of War rather.
Game of War. Where's that game?
It sounds like a boring game.
It's like a card game.
I play that card game a lot.
Yeah, the Game of War. It's a card game.
Very boring.
You can play some war in there if you like cards. No,
Be like us.
yeah, but like like
around
all the also Ghost of Tsushima, like they were shamelessly borrowing, but they've created something new. I guess Dead Souls. You're right, like with the save mechanic.
Very Dead Souls.
They borrowed from the best, but I think it's good because the feeling I got when I hit the second planet was I was like, finally we got like a first class, like AAA
open world
Star Wars game, like a Star Wars game that matched the best games that were out at the time. Like it always felt like when LucasArts was making games, it was like they were fun. But it was like the mechanics, the gameplay, the user interface was all sort of, a couple generations behind where the best games were at the time. But this is feeling like maybe they're there.
And they're breaking new ground, right? Like, it felt like, the old LucasArts games felt like they were always a clone of a game that came out 3-4 years ago, right? And with a Star Wars, it was the Star Wars skin over it. But this feels like it's something different. They actually thought about what works in the Star Wars universe, and it does feel like something different, and it took me a while to figure out what it was. And the other thing that I was somewhat surprised about, and I think pleasantly, is I thought for sure they were gonna scale back the difficulty level of the game because of how much commentary was around the difficult level of the first game.
Was there
I'm here to tell you there was a lot, and not necessarily
for me.
It's a difficult game.
It is a difficult game.
Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily negative, right? People were just surprised for it. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think they did. I think this game is for me I feel like I'm dying just as much. I'll tell you, I'm not getting as frustrated. I'm not getting frustrated, right? Like it always feels like I'm like, when I die, it's almost like, oh yeah, I get to go do it again, try it again, and figure it out. Like it's very.
I will say I'm
solvable.
playing this on Jedi Knight. Because there's like, I've played God of War on the hardest setting, whatever, because I feel like that's what that game
so metal.
That's what that game wants. But like this, there's a certain thing where you're like, you want it to feel real, right? Like I'm a Jedi with a lightsaber. I should be mowing down people. You know what I mean? Like
is Jedi Knight the base, the one it starts you at?
One.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm at.
And it's still challenging. It's still very challenging.
It's challenging, but this is also for listeners in 2 weeks when we or next week even when we come back and talk about where we are in Jedi Survivor. Ben will be like, "Yeah, I'm on the hardest level."
I don't know because like I went back the past couple weeks and I played. I was playing Fallen Order on Grandmaster, and it was stupid. Like it's the whole mechanic of like, you have a save point and you can go. And so many times I would be like, okay, I defeated a squad of stormtroopers and then a monster and then a purge trooper. But then like the next squad of troopers finally killed me. And so I have to go back and I have to play through all of those scenarios again to get back to kill the guy that has all my like skill points and all that. Like, I was underwater. It's so hard. And it's like, I just don't feel like with a lightsaber, I should have to hit my foe 20 times, but they only have to hit me twice. Like it just doesn't make any canonical sense. So I'm going Jedi Knight on this and love it.
I almost wish that was a mode to enable, like one hit kill.
I think there is, like, you can jump it down to, I think the like there's the lowest is like story mode, where I think it's like basically like you pretty much can one hit kill if you just are interested in the story.
I just like when games sort of treat like elements as elements, and like if someone's wearing Beskar, like then they can be impervious to a lightsaber swing or attack.
Right.
But if they're not, like it's just cut right through. Like I like the hyper realism when it comes to the materials and elements in which like you're hitting or firing at or whatever. Like
Grant, I will say I have run across a battle with let's call it a mini boss, and that mini boss was able to do things that made you forced you to change your fighting style.
Yeah, that makes sense. I knew that. I mean, that's how you basically flex those mechanics. Is you're like, this boss, you have to switch.
I just want to be encouraged to use all the functionality and all the because the skill trees are massive now. That's another thing.
Huge.
So the skill trees are like giant. There's so many. There's a skill tree for every. They call them stances, but all stances are different lightsaber formations. So one stance is single blade, another stance is double blade, another stance is dual wielding. Dual wielding.
Yeah.
Dual wielding. Yeah.
Have you started dual wielding yet, Grant?
I remember dual wielding from the last game.
No, I meant in this game. Okay. So on that first planet,
like just double blade.
Sorry. And again, I'm spoiling too much for you, so I feel bad.
But I mean, no, I mean, like, okay,
it's been in the previews.
Dual wielding.
That's
like
I expect. I
expect those things. You know, like I don't know.
You have
the things you're talking about. Like I expect most of this stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nothing is like unexpected for me.
The thing I appreciate is that, like, so every time I get a skill point, I feel a twinge of anxiety.
I'm wondering if there's like housing, farming, taming, side quests that lead to like larger scope things.
You're not getting
of the story, or is it just stuck on wheels of story wheels? You know what I mean?
It's going to be story wheels for the most part. With
Cal
some side
Kestis
stuff,
become a weird outlaw in the desert of a random planet for like
we're not there
3 hours?
We're not there.
I can have fun doing that. Or like, am I going to have to?
I can't keep saying no.
Clear out the side quests and continue the main story. That's all I'm wondering.
You might get that in the Ubisoft game. You might.
Is there a living?
Wait for the Ubisoft game.
Is the world living, breathing world? Is there? Do the environments change up? Are there patterns to the environment, like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, where like new people show up at night, new people show up here at this time? Like go here when the cave entrance is open, and there'll be some like stuff like that. Like is there stuff like that? Like I'm wondering if the world feels dynamic, or if the world feels like you cleared out the side quests, go back to the main story. Like I'm wondering if the world just like funnels you back to the main story constantly.
It is dynamic. So
feel living and breathing.
Yeah, as you progress, you unlock new interactivity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like as you go through the game,
is it repeatable minigame stuff, or is it like dynamic. Almost like side questy? Prolonged side questy stuff.
Yeah. I can already tell there's going to be like sub side quests, like things that are maybe passive that are going to occur as you progress through the game.
I love when there's a good economy in a game, and like you can basically like farm something, and like an NPC is involved in that process, and you can basically like repeatedly kind of like gather the things that person needs to get some credits, because credits actually matter because you can buy new speeders, ships.
God of War was like that, actually. They did a great job with that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that when it works out in a way where it's like, I don't know, the way that
But it's so huge that every time I get a skill point, I feel anxiety because I don't know which one to choose, because there's so like, I'm just like, am I doing the right thing? And then every time a new boss shows up, like I actually in my chair going, oh boy, like which I haven't felt that in a video game in a long time.
I have a new a new method where I actually build up the like force powers and the health powers first.
Health, that's kind
because
of
because I'm like until I'm using all of my lightsaber techniques and forms and force forms, like I don't need to keep getting more because I'm not even using the ones I have, and I hate that. Like I want to use the whole arsenal, like have it all at my fingertips.
I'm kind of the same way, but I'm like, I sure do need health and I sure do need force powers.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, similarly. But like, I just, the other mechanic that's here, we talk about one of the side characters is what's Bode. That you get I think a mechanic that's going to be crucial throughout the game is having an NPC following you around that you are using. Companions. Yeah, the companion characters.
Oh,
and so that's why I think
that's because Bode kind of functions like that in the beginning. Is that a constant mechanic where it's like, hey, I'm bringing Grease for this one. I'm bringing
TBD.
We'll find out. Like
Marin.
TBD, but I think I mean, they've clearly established it right off the bat. So I think it's just like you sort of slow play into meeting.
I love that. If it's more like Dragon Age or like Baldur's Gate or something, where it's like your companion, or Fallout even for that matter, where it's like if your companions have input into your choices and things like that, like, and react to your choices.
I don't know. What's going to be really interesting is if it gets to a point, which I don't know, will it get to a point where you can choose companions, right? Or is it going to be story driven?
Oh, it's story driven.
I don't know. Okay. I'm wondering. It'll be really interesting because those are my favorite. Like, I think about the old Final Fantasy games where you could like determine who's going to come with you and how that affects choices.
So cool. Yeah, that stuff. It's like those choice based kind of mechanics.
There's a mind trick mechanic. Was that in the the game? I don't remember that being in the first game. Yeah, that's new. That's new. You can mind trick people.
The button that you use for mind tricks used to be the freeze button, and now freeze is double thumbstick. I think
double thumbs. Yeah.
So they're making more real estate on the controller, and so the whole mind control is like a whole other tree. So it's great. So you start pretty much with everything you had at the end of Fallen Order. And then now you're growing your skills, which
you're growing. Yeah, it's makes sense. Yeah, it's awesome. The other thing is they're building out their world of NPCs, which I'm appreciating in this game. That in the second planet there are a lot more people to interact with, and a lot of like side characters that are fun and like.
I will see on the first planet. Did you see the wanted poster for that Twi'lek in the hat?
Yes. Okay.
That's good that you saw that.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Harrison Dula in the hat? What?
No, at first I thought it was Harrison Dula. That's why it caught my eye. But it has like Dave Filoni's hat on, and then I was like, oh no, this is a different character.
Wait, like
thank you.
Wolf,
I
like
didn't put that together.
Wolf signet on the hat and everything.
No,
really?
It's no wolf signet.
No wolf signet. But it's. I was wondering, I'm like, what's up with that character? That's what's up with that character. There you go. Thank you, Ben. Yeah. Did not put that together.
I mean, oh God, I so bad want to talk about gameplay. I think we have to talk about it offline though, because like seriously, like, I mean, I did not want any spoilers coming into this game, and I'm just trying to get people stoked on it. If you're not playing it, and you like video games and get in, just go for it, go hard.
Yeah,
I think it's super fun, but like,
already great. Yeah, 5 minutes in, or 5 minutes, 5 hours in. I don't know how far in, but there's already been some great story beats that are worth it. Just if you're a Star Wars fan, like very Star Wars moments already.
And so like the story, like the MacGuffin has now revealed itself for like the main point of the game has now revealed itself, and that for some reason, even though I saw all the previews coming into this, that took me off guard, and I was like, oh,
same. I don't know why it did, because it was in there.
Because you're so sunk into his world, and then all of a sudden, like, you're just like empathizing with Cal and what he's going through, and we obviously just read the book, so we know like all the things like on their inner like minds and all the turmoil, and then it just like happens, and you're like, what? And like it, and then it, I don't know, it blew me away. That was really great.
Yeah.
And then, so that's going to be super fun. And then, but then like, it's all the other stuff. I know there's going to be cameos. I just feel it in my bones that we're going to get some really fun cameos, and I can't wait for that. And then, and then like really calling back to the book. I think they're going to call back to the book a lot, because they kind of have to. That's the most recent thing that happened in their, in their canon, in their, their world.
The book is also a wonderful misdirect, because like the book ends with them in a certain way, your group in a certain way, and the game opens with your group in a different way. And I that really threw me.
Yeah.
That really threw me as I was sitting here going, I thought I was ahead of. We'll talk about what we talk about in a few weeks. Like spoilers, but the opening scene, I was like, I thought I was ahead of it.
Yes,
I thought I was ahead of it. Going, I knew who that person is. I knew who that person is. I knew who's in that costume. I knew who's in that costume. And then I was like, wrong. And then it like took me forever for my brain to start settling into the new normal of what this game is, which is
something different,
fun.
right? Like, and I think that was some of the genius of Sam Maggs is like. It was like they left the book and like they're all feeling some kind of way, and then you find out then all of a sudden you're dropped into this game and you're like, wait, what happened?
What happened in the few years?
And how many years do we know? How many years?
Really good question, Grant. Before you signed on, we Adam and I were going through it. I only have Wikipedia to go on right now. I tried to go into the Star Wars Timelines book that we all just bought, but I couldn't find it because the book's a doorstop. So the Wikipedia is saying that the book takes place somewhere between 12 and 10 BBY, and Wikipedia is saying that the game takes place 9 BBY. But I'm pretty sure in the game they say that they haven't been together for 5 years.
Yeah, it feels when that game starts, it feels like a lot more than just a year has passed.
And I think I think Wikipedia might have it wrong because it's so new. I would if the timeline that I think is right, if it was between 12 and 10 BBY for the book, if that's even accurate, then we're talking 5 BBY, 7 to 5 BBY.
Which seems right to me.
Yeah, that seems right because just from the little I've seen.
Now you're getting into Rebels territory. You're getting into Andor territory at 5. Because like
Eldani is news that I think made it around the galaxy, I believe, right?
Yeah, and I think that was 4 BBY,
Eldani
right?
heist.
So I mean, so you're overlapping with a lot of really interesting IP. I mean, who knows?
And Obi-Wan.
I mean, we're definitely overlapping with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, there's also totally.
But it's so the timeline was important. That was one of the things I was like, I need to figure this out. But I'm not convinced that I have it right yet.
No,
what's weird
either.
is because what's strange about Fallen Order is that you destroy whatever Fortress Inquisitorius.
And they rebuild
I hate
it.
saying that, but
so that makes me think that
they destroy and they rebuild it in a matter of a year, a calendar, a standard cycle,
An underwater fortress. They
it seems implausible given it's all this high pressure containment underwater.
They rebuilt the
we are such nerds. We are such nerds. We're like, how do you build an underwater fortress? Pressurization.
Listen, we know where this podcast always ends. It ends in just complete nerd zone.
No, I love it. That's what when I'm lying in bed at night trying to go to sleep.
It's usually you complaining about the decal on a TIE fighter.
So this is another thing too. Yeah. Another reason for me to hate myself. I found this awesome word generator. It was someone made this really Web 1.0 web page to teach you how to read Arabic. And it was cool, and I started doing it, and I'm like, I should do this, but I'm like, I'm never going to go back and do this. That's the dorkiest thing of all time. However, this game, there is Arabic everywhere. And actually, if you read the lore, so you pick up lore stuff along the way, they show it to you in English, and then they show it to you in Arabic right next to each other.
Right.
So you can start teaching yourself how to read it. And honestly, man, I kind of want to just walk away from this game for 10 days and just study Arabic, speak fluent Arabic, because there is signs, there's graffiti, there's so much Arabic everywhere, and I'm dying to know what it is, and it kills me that I can't read it. And it's such a simple little 1-for-1 replacement cipher.
Squiggle.
Yeah, and I can't do it. But that's what like this game's gonna make you want to read Arabic. Like maybe I won't do it for the first playthrough, but like the second playthrough, I'll teach myself Arabic and go back through and just read the graffiti for the whole playthrough.
Yeah, it's
Are there
also
Easter eggs in this game? You guys spotted any Easter eggs yet? Like Mando covert? I don't know. Like weird.
Nothing I've noticed yet, but I'm mostly trying not to die, so it's hard to catch.
Just on the walls and.
Again, if I read Arabic,
it is
maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I bet there are some.
It's also the game where like every time I pick something up and it's just like click on your like menu button to read more. I click on my menu button every time and actually read the paragraph description.
Yeah.
Like which I don't do that with most games. I mostly do that. I'm like, I'm going to do that. And then about like 10 hours into a game, I'm like, this is taking too much time. I'm just not going to read everything. But this is a game where I'm going to read everything.
Yeah. There's good stuff in there. Oh, there's.
What was that? What are the hot dogs called? What are they called? Turbo dogs.
Oh,
Turbo
bro,
dogs.
that was a scene like holy cow.
Oh yeah, that was like.
Yo, the
my inner '90s child was like full grin,
dude.
When I heard that,
beating the wall that's being beaten in, and you're just like, I want to set that thing free so bad.
I know. And I was like, what's the mechanic? I spent so many times.
That thing is going to be food. I want to
like,
set it free, and I don't want to kill it.
Yeah. Give me a Rancor.
Our thoughts about the game are going to be so much fun next week. I can't wait.
And we'll definitely do follow-ups, I think, every week, kind of like where we are. Not like we don't, just little check-ins, and then once
I
want
to talk about it, but I don't like. Again, as a gamer, I don't know that I'd want it spoiled, but I want.
No.
We're talking.
No spoilers.
It's so much better. Just
like go on the journey, because right now where I'm at, I'm like, oh my, I have no idea what's going to happen. I like everything's possible. I can already see all these cool things that are going to happen in the future. I can't wait. I'm dude. I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight for real. I'm gonna go spoil games.
Do you think Endgame will be like? Do you think it'll be like New Game Plus, or is there reason enough to stay in the story that you made?
I think if they're trying to hang with the real
guesses?
with the best titles on like PS5, they better do an NG Plus.
Mm-hmm. There's
really?
gotta be.
They did one for the first game. It was like 5 years later or something stupid, but like they did one,
I would be shocked if they didn't have one on this.
What if they pull a Red Dead and Cal Kestis dies post credits?
And you play as a different character,
playable Marin? They finally give it to me,
and that's your NG Plus. How fun would that be?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2.
You're fine. You're fine.
Sorry. Oh god,
you're fine.
Well, I'm not playing that game.
That game
now.
is.
Sorry.
8 years. That game is.
It was
like
literally the best ending ever. But
it was really great. That game got me through the first year of the pandemic.
That game bored me to death. I just was like, I'm so
you have
bored.
no soul. That's my happy place. I was literally, I saw it when I pulled up my games. I saw it in the games, and I was like, maybe I'll just play that instead. Like that game is always like, I just want to go play more just lose myself in Red Dead. But I will say, yeah. Oh, I know. But we will. I think we'll definitely, once we're all through the story, we will do a spoiler-rific.
I would say
episode.
Like
we'll warn you.
2 months. Like give some people a chance.
Yeah, it'll be a while because I get a couple hours a day at most, so it'll be a while, and it's hard for me not to. I can't play linearly. Like I just have to go try to do all these other things.
As soon as I hit that second planet, I just broke right. I'm going to be there. I don't know where does this go, and then I was like, oh wait, I probably should have gone straight. I don't know. All right, whatever, I'll do it later. And
then I found like a really good spot where I could just get a ton of points. So I'm like, do I just like camp here and just
grind?
like power up and grind and just get and I'm like, no, I got to go do other stuff.
Because if you camp or farm, like the other stuff's easy. Like the other stuff that's supposed to be challenging.
Yeah, once you get back into that's always been my MO. Like when I play
it's very Dark Souls. Dark Souls is like that. You collect souls to use on skills.
I guess you can grind skill points, right? But like
that's what I was gonna start doing.
There's a mechanic, dude, where you have it's like God of War, where you get like enchantments, but it's not called that. It's called something else.
Oh, what is it? What are those called? Yeah, I can't think what they're called either. But I just got my first one.
Yeah, I did too. So, they have like a whole other like rank up mechanic that's very like God of War. That's like an additional power buff on top of your power buffs. Which is great. It's kind of like this game's like a New Game Plus for Fallen Order in a lot of ways. because you're
Very much
starting
so.
with like
Yeah.
all your main stuff, and then like now you're just getting stronger. Like all your your climbing gear, like you climb so fast. I forgot like when I restarted the game, like Fallen Order, you climbed so slow, and then I like loaded up
I
my like
forgot that.
98%. I'm like, I'm gonna platinum this stupid thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, you climb so fast and like everything's so easy and like, yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of how the game plays.
Yeah.
But it's super fun.
It's great. Yeah. Another.
And BD's the best.
He's
so.
still great.
Everyone
He's still
loves
great.
BD.
How when you Ben, have you been updating BD or like doing like cosmetic changes
Who
on
are
him?
you talking
I
to,
assume.
dude?
I
Who are you talking to? Like,
Ben just like
yeah,
I
like
just spent 3
55
hours.
But just the-
times. Like, yes, yeah.
right? But just the interface, how you change something out and he actually like it hits him and he
You
moves.
change his faceplate,
Like,
it
it's-
slaps him in the face, and he's like,
slaps him in
"Whoa."
his face and he like falls backwards.
Oh, that's
it's just
awesome.
it's just little
That's
like
so
little
good.
things. It's just
That's
little
so
tiny
good.
things that are just like wow, they spent, which is shocking because like for a AAA game sequel to come out only a couple of years after the first one.
Yeah.
And to actually be able to add these like quality of life improvements to the game is
Dude,
really
user
impressive.
interface is
I think
so
he's the
important.
most iconic droid since like
BB-8.
Yeah,
Chopper. I don't know. Like yeah, I guess he's like an all timer though. BD that design, that silhouette is like they tried to design a bunch of droids around the Force Awakens, which BB-8 obviously incredible
great,
design.
but everything
So
else is
cute.
whatever. Yeah,
Fantastic.
Mhm.
And I saw a lot of those designs for the new films, and then I was like, these are great. They're a little too rounded for me. And then this one's just like I don't know. It just evokes like the old AT-AT. It evokes like 80s like camp like
Oh yeah, it's got
it evokes
his
like
head is a
analog
lot
tape.
like
and like it
Johnny
evokes
5.
like it's so cool.
Short Circuit. Yeah,
What was Short Circuit?
Yeah.
Johnny 5. Yeah,
Johnny
like,
5. Yeah, Johnny
his-
5. Johnny 5 is
Yeah,
alive.
that's the vibe I get off BB-8 or
Yeah.
BD-1. So.
Also-
BD, that design.
Don't rewatch Short Circuit. It does not hold up. There's a 90% of that movie is a man in brown face. It's real bad.
right?
Oh, not great. Not great.
Moving on.
Yeah.
It's like
No.
yeah, I love
Problematic.
the design.
But-
the BD design is
Yeah,
so
the
cool.
BD, but like also just like his temperament. He's the goat, really. He's like a little droid
Yeah.
that hangs with you.
No, R2's the goat. Like whoa.
I mean, yeah.
R2's the goat.
We need to
What's going on
define
here? What's
parameters here. I'm just
R2's
saying, like,
we-
if you like, do I hang out with R2 or do I hang out with BD-1? I'm hanging out with BD-1.
Are you saying R2's
Oh, BD-1.
great hang right now? Is this
Actually,
No.
I mean, yes, I want to have like a smoke in a dark corner of a starship.
guy who
with,
knows, like, the
with
entire
R2. Like,
story.
remember when like R2 used to smoke butts?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
like,
yes.
yes, I would love to have a smoke outside a club
Oh,
with
dark-
with R2 and like no.
Oh, you just
no
unlocked 5-year-old Madam's memory of PSAs that I forgot about.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
R2? Come
No,
on. Storied past.
R2
So-
is like the droid I'd want to have a beer with the most. But like,
Yeah.
if I needed a droid companion, it'd be BD-1 all the way.
Are we doing this right now?
Because
Are we? All right.
Yeah,
A droid to
sure.
hang out with and droid companion, all-time companion.
All right,
Are we
let's
doing this
go.
right now?
I just gave you mine. You guys.
If I'm
gotta
going hang,
dude, the stories out of R2, bro. Like, don't worry about it.
IG-11 Taika is pretty awesome. Just to like
he's
heck
kind
shit.
of one
No one's
note.
hurting me. Like
Yeah.
he'll just defend me. He's got my back.
That's your companion.
I don't know. That's hang. That's
your
like
hang?
That's like well. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking like have
Yeah,
a beer
a
versus
wild
like
time.
companion. I mean, have a beer for me is Forlom
Yeah,
because
Oh yeah.
that is
that guy's
just crazy.
yeah.
That's gonna be
That's a one-way
fascinating.
ticket
It's
to
a
Crazy
wild-
Town.
It's sectoid. I don't know
But,
if I
like,
could like. I
compa-
don't know if I could be there for very long. But yeah.
No, but like hang out, have some beers. Probably leave when the fight breaks out.
Zuckus,
You know,
it's like breathing
I don't
down
know
your-
this guy.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
so this is like stop hitting on my
Zuckus says
droid.
no chill.
See, it's really hard not to pick BD-1 though for your companion because he's basically just a pet. Like he acts
But like
like
super
a pet,
functional.
Right? Like,
Yeah, he's like a snuggly
Yeah.
little droid that you just want to snuggle
I-
and take with you everywhere.
I mean, I will say BB-8 always has a special place in my heart. I mean, the scene in Force Awakens, and boy, is this a heavy Force Awakens show.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
know, we should
when
put it in the
he-
title or something. I don't know why we're
Right?
talking about Force
It's
Awakens.
super weird.
We should plug that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Um,
lots of Force
but
Awakens.
like when he does the thumbs up with
Yes.
Finn, It's a really
Did you catch in Mandalorian? There was a thumbs up with a pit droid, I think.
No,
yeah,
I missed that.
She's like, are they gone? Is that guy gone? When she's scamming that dude on Boonta Eve, and the pit droid looks around the corner and then he gives the thumbs up, and I was like, you knew it was coming, and you were just like, yes, that was great. Yeah, I mean, there's another.
What about that repurposed torture droid from Alphabet Squadron?
Oh, yeah, he would be a good hang, dude. If you want a therapist to hang out with, that therapist that's killed people.
Yeah. Right. Oh, what about Mr. Bones? Mr. Bones is
he's a good companion droid.
Oh yeah, classic. Droid from the books.
I mean, we're getting into deep cuts now.
We're getting to the aftermath series.
I got to go R2 though. I'm going.
You can't go wrong with R2.
Classic.
Yeah.
I like an astromech.
Yeah.
I'm a big R4 guy, honestly.
Wait, who's R4? Obi's?
Big Obi's maroon. Obi's maroon astromech.
That died in
yes.
Yeah, in
yes.
Yeah. As the I remember the theater
love that droid. No, it's Attack of the Clones. Oh yeah, Attack of the Clones. He's in there.
No, I thought but no, he died in Revenge of the Sith. First scene of Revenge of the Sith.
He gets decapitated by buzz droids.
Yeah, he's the first scene. Yeah, he dies in Revenge of the Sith.
It's like literally his head goes bouncing off of
the movie.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, full.
R4.
That's why I like
send a message to the old folks home. It's one of my favorite lines in Attack of the Clones when he calls the Jedi Jedi Masters the old folks home.
He did his duty.
I love that movie. Let's talk about Attack of the Clones for another hour.
I'm going R4 companion, and I'm going IG-11 hang.
All right, Adam.
I'm gonna stick with my 4-LOM hang and my BB-8 companion droid.
All right, good calls all around. I'm glad we got deep into droids here at 3 hours into this podcast.
Sorry, droid time.
What are we? An hour and 45 minutes. Okay,
that's not too bad.
One pot
at a time. Any other final words from you all before we tie a bow on this bad boy?
No. Well, let's go play some video games.
No, just go play some Survivor.
Right.
Yeah,
go play Survivor, y'all. It's awesome.
Yeah, and next week, Visions.
Are you serious right now?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, May the 4th is Vision Season 2. So, what do you think we're covering next week? We're covering Visions.
Oh my gosh.
Not to call it live.
No, please call it live.
You gotta do it.
I'd love to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
They've been releasing the titles and showing some poster art, stuff like that.
It looks great.
Yeah. The animation looks incredible.
It looks amazing.
All right, Visions next week. Let's go.
And these are the stories. If you want to see big swings, watch Visions. There are some
huge swings.
Fantastically huge, crazy
shows
swings.
You the opposite of Hunter's Battle for the Arena. It shows you what you're able to do if your hands aren't tied by canon. Yeah, let's allow some non-canon storytelling in Star Wars. It's okay. Even if you need to label it such, even if you put a big sticker that says non-canon.
Yeah, I watched the heck out of the first Visions, and I really loved it.
So good.
So wow, I can't believe we get that next. My wife was just asking me. She's like, "What's the next show that's coming out?" And I was like, "Ahsoka." And we don't even have a date for that, really, right?
August, sometime in August.
That's what I told her. I was like, I don't know, sometime in August. We don't have a thing. But then, whoops, next week, new show. Yeah. Remember when we used to be like, oh, let's invent these segments to fill dates?
Where are the Wars in the Stars?
There's technically there are 2 new shows debuting.
Debuting, I like that. Let's go.
Debuting. That's happening here.
I have lost the ability to speak 2 hours in. I think we hit the 2 hour mark,
does not
but
make
I can't.
You intelligent. So you're good.
Yes, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
But also,
you brought me back from the dead.
Well done,
Night Sister.
Once again, Phantom Menace. So the other show coming out is that Young Jedi Knights, very young show. So we are not going to sit down and watch all of that. However, I will probably have watched quite a bit of that with my 3-year-old. So I may have a little report on that as well. No promises, but we'll see if she's into it.
Report back.
I'm trying to.
That show's hitting for you, Adam.
Yeah. I'm trying to introduce her, but not indoctrinate her. It's a tough road to go.
I'll probably end up watching it just because it's there.
You don't want to be like, this is the end all be all.
Exactly.
It's fun. Star Wars is fun.
Star Wars fun.
It's meant to be entertaining and fun for everyone and exciting and That's what we.
She picks 2 books out every night, and at least 2 times a week she picks out a Star Wars Golden Book without me forcing her. So
wins.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, like I do think that like we're a hardcore podcast, and if you're listening to us, you're a pretty hardcore fan because it's like we cross everything and we do it quickly, and we probably don't help people along as much as we should because it's like you have to like this is a full-time job right now to like follow everything that's coming out in Star Wars, so I don't expect a lot of people to do it. But if you are,
it's a job for people.
Yes, like if you are doing it, you are so happy right now. You're so because I am drowning in Star Wars. Like I have like 2 more books to read, like Star Wars books to read that I can't wait to read. Like 2 more High Republic books. We're 2 books novels behind, and.
Yeah, reference book. Let's not even talk about all the comics.
The Timelines book just came in the mail. Like I am just drowning in Star Wars, but like loving it.
Remember when we
Timelines will be an episode.
Oh, yeah.
We should just put that out there.
Yeah,
I think we'll just do 1 episode.
Timelines just came out. I can see it in the background of Grant's thing there.
Yeah.
It's a sick book.
Mine next to me too.
Yeah, we've all got it.
Yeah.
So.
Of course.
I know we've been talking about timelines for like 6 months. Yeah, I know. I just pulled a muscle in my back.
I literally did actually tweak something in my arm.
Oh man.
Ben, this has solved a lot of our. We need to go back and backtrack all our old episodes and look at all the arguments and be like, oh my god, like this is what happened 17 BBY. Look at us.
Stuff out there, man. When you start like there's things you can click on a year in like Wikipedia and it'll tell you everything that happened that year. And that stuff is fascinating.
Yeah.
Anyways, timelines are super important in Star Wars because there is time except for that whole thing called World Between Worlds, which I would
coming to a live action screen series soon, August, I assume. Yeah.
All right, cool.
We are bringing time travel into the
already confusing
not only are we bringing it into the canon, we're bringing it into the live action space.
Yep.
There's a whole page dedicated to Ahsoka's travels, and I've seen it already in timelines before they published it, and I still don't understand it. Actually,
is there just is it like loop around on itself? Is there like a squiggle?
It looks like a high school track, with like 6 lanes that just go around and around, and you're like, what? Anyways, we'll decipher all that for you and talk to you about it and let you know an easy way to digest it.
Well, you could riff off of like the Last Jedi's dark cave scene and do some cool echoes and fun camera tricks in there.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's a thing, but we'll figure it out because that's one of the things I love about Star Wars. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. All right, thanks very much for listening to us this week. Can't wait to talk to you again next week. As always, may the Force be with you.
This is Grex Kondak signing off. For the latest breaking news, follow @CoreWorldNews on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you and good night.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.